What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to World According to Briggs. How about today we take a look at the Palmetto State, South Carolina. In the past few years, I have gotten a steady stream of requests from people wanting me to do videos on the best places to move to in each state. Last week we did Texas, and today we're going to take a look at South Carolina. What we're looking at is towns over 5,000 to cities under 50,000. Somewhere in that area, we're looking for nice places to live. I'll give you the same explanation I gave in the Texas video last week. In this video, we are looking at the best cities statistically to live in South Carolina. Now, I say statistically because locals have opinions and will disagree with some of the cities on this list. Everyone's opinion is different. Example, I grew up in a place called West Torrance, that's in Southern California. It's an upper middle class neighborhood. There's a town not too far away called Gardena. Coming from where I grew up, in my opinion, Gardena isn't a great place to live. If you were living in, let's say, South Central or Compton or something like that, Gardena sounds like a nice place. Opinions vary, numbers don't. These cities wouldn't be considered cheap, affordable, or inexpensive. They are really nice places to live. If some place is really nice and affordable, there would be a line down the street of people looking to get in on it. We won't be looking at cost of living. Let's just assume these are all expensive places to live. We will be focusing on the three things that normally indicate a place is a great place to live: crime rate, high school graduation rate, and poverty level. Those paint a pretty good picture of what's going on in any city or town. If you think we missed a city or you think one shouldn't be on the list, we'd love to hear about it in the comment section below. All right, let's see the best places to live in South Carolina. Number 10. Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson has a population of 15,008 people. That was in 2019. Clemson is about 35 minutes southwest of Greenville, South Carolina, towards the Georgia border. Clemson is home to Clemson University and is considered one of the best college towns to live in the United States. It's an interesting place to live. It's very nice. This area was settled by European Americans after the Cherokees were forced off the land in 1819. Not a great way to start things off, and they probably scored some bad karma for that, but it's kind of what happened on the regular back then. Decent homes here start off around $250,000 and they go up. I actually saw these cute little tiny homes that were going for like $160,000. They look like they're one bedroom and that's it, but they had a couple of these really small, cute little homes that look nice. Anyway, the crime rate here is 5% lower than the national average. The graduation rate for the high schools is 94%, which is solid. And their poverty rate is 66% higher than the national average. I know we're focusing on the best ones, but they got a lot of poverty in South Carolina. That's the only one that actually is higher on this list. Number 9, James Island, South Carolina. James Island has a population of 11,844 residents. James Island is sort of a suburb of Charleston, South Carolina. I say sort of because it's an island and suburbs are normally connected to the city, you know, just have a border there with them. It's got a little creek running between them and then the ocean's there. It's weird. Anyway, James Island is nice and I've been there. It's got a nice barbecue place called the Smoky Oak Tap Room or Public House. I think it's Tap Room. It is an island, so the ocean's never too far away from any house you buy there. Home prices will be up there most of the time, but they do have some good ones for under $300,000. You're probably going to need a little work on them, but they do have a couple right now. Realistically, you probably want to be looking at $500,000 on up if you want to live here in a nice place. The crime rate here is 44% lower than the national average. Graduation rate is 91% higher than the national average, and the poverty rate is 43% lower than the national average. Number 8, Lake Murray of Richland. Lake Murray of Richland has a population of 5,798. It is about 20 or 30 minutes away from downtown Columbia, South Carolina. And if the name didn't tip you off, this community is on Lake Murray. Most of the places here are on the lake or about 10-20 yards from the lake. Normally, lake properties are a bit out in the sticks and they don't have many things around them. Lake Murray of Richland has a Walmart, a Sonic drive-thru, a Pizza Hut, all about 5 minutes away. It also has a name that doesn't have to be that long. One good thing about this place, I was looking at some of the property, they got some nice homes here, 230, 240, but most of them are 400,000 on up, but you can still get a nice place for the 250 area. Also get some really nice ones for $1.5 million. $2.2 million is outrageously nice. Nobody needs a pool 15 feet from the lake. It doesn't make sense. But if you're paying $2.2 million for a home in South Carolina, you get what you want. The crime rate here is 55% lower than the national average, the graduation rate is 91%, and the poverty rate is 68% lower than the national average. Not bad stats. Number 7. Tega Cay, South Carolina. It's got a population of just over 9,000 residents. Tega Cay is a planned community on the border of North Carolina, about 30 minutes south of Charlotte, North Carolina, and a few minutes north of Fort Mill, South Carolina. So it's right there. It's on the lake. It's really nice. I like this place. You can see it as you're about to land in Charlotte. Just look out the window. You'll see it. It's pretty neat. For the longest time, I was wondering what was going on down here on this lake. There's so many houses dotted around it. It looked like a really nice place to live. I looked it up. Tega Cay is one of them. Homes here can get up there, but they have some for under $400,000. If you want to live on the water, maybe your own dock or something for your boat, you should be ready to spend $600,000 on up. They have some that are like $1.5 million. Can get pricey, but they're still affordable homes here. This is a great place to live because the crime rate's 40% lower than the national average. Their graduation rate in high school is 99%. That's a good number. The poverty rate is 94% lower than the national average. Number 6, Bluffton, South Carolina. Bluffton has a population of 15,700 people. It's got a lot of history dating back before the colonial times, but it was actually settled in 1825. This city is inland from Hilton Head, South Carolina, in what they call the Low Country around here. Bluffton is kind of a secret. It's one of those places that is great, but not many people from outside the area know about it. If you end up moving here, don't tell them I told you about it. I get enough hate mail from Idaho and Texas. It's like these people think I'm the only reason anyone's moving to their state. It's not just me. But Bluffton's kind of one of those places that's a secret hotspot for you. You can find a home here for around $300,000 if you're lucky, but $500,000 to $600,000 is the typical rate you'll be looking at. And they go way up, like $2 to $3 million way up. I actually saw one that's going for $6 million right now. $6 million. In South Carolina, that's crazy. Anyway, the crime rate is 59% lower than the national average. The graduation rate is 90%. That's not the greatest, but it's still respectable. And the poverty level is 44% lower than the national average. Number 5, Fort Mill, South Carolina. Fort Mill, South Carolina has a population of 13,181 residents. They also have a tie-dye parking lot and quite possibly the world's smallest veterans park. Fort Mill, like Tega Cay, is a suburb of Charlotte, North Carolina, even though it's in South Carolina. They're really close. This area is a very desirable place to live. One subscriber said that he retired in Florida from Minnesota. Took him about 3 years to realize he hated it and moved to Fort Mill. He also told me a lot of other people are doing that, moving to this area instead of Florida. I don't have any proof of that. That's just what he said. But is this an alternative to Florida? Some people see it that way. If you want to retire, live, or do whatever and buy a house here, you can get houses for the 350 neighborhood that are decent and ready to move into, but really most of them go for $500,000 to $600,000. They're really nice homes here. The crime rate here is 52% lower than the national average. The graduation rate's a little bit low, but it's still a pretty good place to live. It's only 89% graduation rate. That's not the best. Their poverty rate is 27% below the national average. Number 4, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Going to the opposite side of Charleston from James Island, we have Mount Pleasant, and it's 77,000 residents. The best part about both those cities is Charleston. It's a beautiful city. It's got wonderful architecture. It's a great tourist destination. Tons of history in this town. It's a great place to visit and even live if you can afford it. Charleston gets up there in price. Mount Pleasant is a great suburb next to a great city. You won't find a house here for under $500,000, but decent houses here start off around $550,000 and go up. Most of the really good ones that you'd want to move in ready and ready to go are $600,000 and up. The crime rate here is 46% lower than the national average, and the graduation rate is 97, so getting better again. The poverty rate is 58% lower than the national average. Number 3, Five Forks, South Carolina. Five Forks has a population of 16,929 people, and it's a growing, affluent suburb of Greenville, South Carolina. This town has amazing residential areas. You just drive around and you're like, that's a beautiful house. Oh, look, there's a beautiful house. There's another beautiful house. How about that one? That's how this place is. And actually, it's not even a town or a city. It's a census-designated area. That's what they call it. Whatever it's called, some people with some money call it home. But the good news is, even though it's got some really, really nice homes that are really expensive, they have some decent ones that are decently priced. You can get homes that are ready to move in and in good shape for between $200,000 and $250,000, but realistically, you're probably looking at $350 on up to get something nice here. The crime rate in Five Forks is 43% lower than the national average. The graduation rate is 96%, and the poverty rate is 83% lower than the national average. Good job. Number 2, Hanahan, South Carolina. Hanahan has a population of 20,710 residents, and they're living the good life on the north side of Charleston. Hanahan is a suburb of Charleston, South Carolina, and it's really nice. It's got a nice little military base there. It's actually the Space and Naval Warfare Systems Center here. I don't know if that has anything to do with Space Force, but it's there. The cool thing I like about this place, it's not crazy expensive and it still has great stats. I ended up watching about an hour's worth of real estate videos about Hanahan. My favorite was a channel by a Charleston realtor called Natasha the Pulse. I know, sounds more like a superhero. She's not, she's just a real estate agent. I don't know about any secret real estate powers she may have, but if she has them, she's keeping them under wraps right now. Anyway, out of all the videos I watched, she's probably the one I hired. She seemed to enjoy the city, she knew about the city, and she has a bloopers reel. She made me laugh, so right there, she earns a link in the description below. Buy a house from Natasha the Pulse if you get a chance. If you do buy a house in Hanahan from Natasha or anyone else, a decent house here starts off around $350,000, and it goes up. But like I said, Natasha made me laugh, so she'll get a link down below. The crime rate in Hanahan is 40% lower than the national average, and the high school graduation rate, not the best. It's 86%, but everything else is really good. The poverty rate is 30% lower than the national average. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget we got another channel called On This Day. Go over and check it out. There's a link below. Maybe subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do so. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Malden, South Carolina. Back to the upstate, we have Malden, a suburb of Greenville. This city is growing. In 2000, they only had 15,000 residents. In 2010's census, they had 22,000, and right now it's estimated they got about 26,000. So they're definitely growing. Best part about Malden, in my opinion, it's got really good stats, and my favorite thing about Malden is the real estate. You could still get decent homes here for around $250,000. They have newer ones that are in the, $350,000, $400,000 area, but they have really nice homes for $250,000 to maybe $300,000. Their crime rate is 26% lower than the national average, graduation rate is 90%, and their poverty rate is 59% lower than the national average. That is not bad. Malden's one of those places, if you bought real estate now, in about 5 or 10 years, it's going to be worth so much more because this place is growing, and it's growing fast. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Don't forget to leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.